What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another weekend watch list here today. So I'm going on Saturday. I'm going to be busy tomorrow, so I wasn't going to come on Sunday, but we're going to go over some stocks that I am particularly watching to trade next week. Tickers are going to be UVXY, TVIX, RKDA, and DXR, and possibly another penny stock I'll take a look at here in a little bit. But so there's going to be about a handful of different stocks we're going to watch for next week. Again, UVXY, TVIX, RKDA, and DXR. So we're going to go over all of these, break them down just exactly how I anticipate to play these probably come Monday morning, and watch a few others for the remainder of the week. So going to be fun. Glad to have you all listening in today. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead start sharing my screen to you guys so you guys can see exactly what stocks I'm looking at. So first thing, I want to analyze the SPY right now. Okay. So first things first, let's look at this yearly chart. I know we go over this quite often, but it is necessary to really get a good understanding of where the market is at right now. Okay, so this is the daily chart on the SPY. Okay, right now we're looking at the daily chart. What's going on, Daniels? What's going on, Caesar, guys? How's everyone doing? Okay, so we're looking at the daily chart on the SPY right now. And as you can see, it's been holding, oh, let me get these drawings off of here. It's been holding a nice uptrend for quite some time. Okay, you can see here from its very low, if you go from the very low and you kind of follow this trend all the way up, right? So you're kind of matching every spot that it has bounced. You can clearly see that it's in a little bit of an uptrend. Okay, you got a low there, a higher low here, and soon to be maybe another higher low there. So you can see that it's definitely trending up, while at the same time, it has sort of a flat top here right around the 280 mark. Just the other week, we rejected, just last week, we rejected this $280 mark, right? This is a big area to see a rejection. Right at the whole dollar mark, right at 280, you can see the rejection. Now we're starting to pull back off the 280 mark, which is right here, and we're coming down to retest this trend line that has previously been made from these lows. Okay, so right now, the SPY is uptrending. It's been putting in higher lows. We just rejected a key mark of 280. We're pulling back, and we're getting very, very close, if not already on this trend line support. Okay, so many think we're coming into a correction. Many think this is the start of a big correction. What's going on, Rodrigo? So again, a lot of people, and myself included, we believe that this is the moment in time that the overall market is going to correct itself. So right now we're just kind of following the ETF, right? So the question still remains whether or not we're going to go bearish or bullish. So right now I have a pretty bearish outlook on the SPY. Okay, so if the market is going to recover, it has to break through 280. If it breaks this trend line, let me zoom out a bit. If it were to break through its trend line right here and start coming down, that would just confirm that we're most likely entering into a bear market or the start of a market correction. All right, because we've been uptrending. If we break through this trend, we'll start downtrending once again. We're going through a little bit of an uptrend, but again, we're not making new highs, right? We're going up. We came up. We're just right about at the previous high. So we're not really making new highs, right? We're kind of stagnant. We're kind of playing around. So again, right now could be the drop that I've kind of been expecting / waiting for the overall market to do here. So you can see that we're in an uptrend. So the reason that I'm mentioning the SPY right now and telling you to really keep your attention over here is because right now the market is in very uncertain times, okay? So right now we should all be focusing a lot of attention on the market, because if this does break, if this trend does snap, we could see the overall market come down extremely hard. That's going to cause Apple, that'll cause Facebook, that'll cause Amazon, it'll cause many, many big blue chip stocks to drop as well, okay? You know what? Let's do this. Look here. Look at this, Amazon. Right? You see this big pull? You see that big pullback that Amazon's seen? That was exactly when the overall market did this, right? When the market pulled back super hard, Amazon pulled back, okay? All these big blue chip stocks tend to follow the overall market. Right now, the overall market's in a pretty shaky spot, pretty uncertain spot. Should definitely be keeping an eye on the market because that's going to tell you how, if it starts coming down, it'll most likely affect a lot of the blue chip stocks in the same way, same manner. Okay. So the reason I'm mentioning the SPY so hard in the overall market is because I want to trade, and I've been trading, TVIX and UVXY. Okay. These are a couple of the tickers we've been following for the past couple weeks. You see this really, really, really big spike here when it went from $4 all the way to $19. That was because the market started to pull really, really hard, okay? That's because the market started to crash. These tickers flew up, okay? They're inverse, they're volatility funds. They track volatility in the market. Again, so this is why we're following them, because they make pretty predictable moves, okay? So back here, if the SPY starts to crack and the SPY starts to come down and start crashing through this trend line, you're going to start seeing a lot of volume come back into this right here, TVIX, UVXY. You're going to start seeing a lot of volume start coming back in to these two tickers. Okay, and a lot of that volume and a lot of that increase is going to cause the price of this to skyrocket. It should, essentially. It'll cause a big move up. So we're going to be following UVXY and TVIX super closely next week because the chances to see that the market comes down are pretty good, right? It's, we're definitely testing key levels right now with the market. I do believe we'll see a few green days. We're starting to kind of base up right here. Do believe we might see some green days to come, but we might end up crashing, and that's going to cause TVIX and UVXY to pop super hard. So what I'm telling you is watch the market very closely over these coming days. And if it starts coming down, try and trade UVXY or TVIX. Next on the list is RKDA. So Daniel, those two ETFs, UVXY and TVIX, those are two ETFs that are kind of, they almost go inverse to the SPY. They don't go inverse based off of price. They go inverse based off of the VIX, the volatility, okay? Let's see, CLRB. I'll take a look at CLRB in a little bit. Next thing I want to go over is RKDA. Okay, this is a stock that got pumped up like crazy over the past couple weeks. It's been wild. As you can see, it's got completely pumped up. It went from $3 all the way to $66. Okay, these are very common patterns you will see, and most likely any of these penny stocks that fly up like this, they'll end up crashing. It's already started crashing. So RKDA is a stock that we're going to keep on watch this next week for a continuation to the downside. We might see a little bit more green here, but we should actually roll over and keep coming down. The price is $41. Shannon, I'll take a look at X and MU in a little bit. So the price right now on RKDA is $40. It had a high of 66. It pulled back pretty hard, but it pulled back to a key level. Actually, watch this, right? 1 second, drawing tool. If I do a Fibonacci retracement here, it basically pulled back to the 50%, right? So this blue line is a level where it could bounce. It started bouncing right there. That's normal. That was already expected. That's kind of what I mentioned, the target price to be right in this $30 area. Anywho, what we're going to watch over these next couple of days is to see if it bounces up a little bit more and we can get in short around the $40 level, the $50 level, okay? Because these big penny stocks, when they get pumped up like this, they're almost guaranteed to crash, okay? They can't sustain these high price points because they weren't meant to, okay? So in the following days, we're going to be watching RKDA to keep coming down. So definitely consider Yeah, exactly, Rodrigo. It's kind of exactly what you just said. So in the coming days, we're gonna watch RKDA for a short position. Okay, that's what we're gonna be watching for in these next couple days for RKDA. Let's look at a sooner time frame. Right, so you can see that it's been pumped up over here and it hit a high of 66. Right here, it kind of based out. It bottomed out. That's why it's curling up. Okay, so we have our high, 66. We have support right here down at $35. There's a strong support. Okay, it bounced off of 35. 1, 2, 3. Now it's moving higher. It's probably going to come up to retest some key levels like $45. Okay, if it reaches $45 and it rejects, maybe open a short position. Okay, last I remembered, it was on short sale restriction. So you'd have to wait for it to get off short sale restriction in order to get any shorts on it. Okay. Okay. So again, keep your eyes on RKDA, all right? Because I want to speed this up. And then the next one I'm looking at is DXR. Okay, DXR is another one, a penny stock that got really pumped up, and then everybody short sold it, right? A lot of people are short selling this. So as soon as DXR stops coming down, it'll base out, and then we'll have a big short squeeze. So keep DXR on watch for maybe tomorrow or Tuesday. At some point, we're probably going to see DXR squeeze really hard because all these short sellers pile in, right? They pile in here, they pile in here, and they short it down. And eventually, once it stops going down, they're going to cover their position, and then they're going to cause the stock to squeeze, okay? Which means go up. So definitely keep DXR on your watch list as well for next week, all right? Those are all the three stocks that I want to watch: DXR, RKDA, UVXY, TVIX. Now let's take a look at CLRB. Let's go down this list here. CLRB. So clearly it got pumped up in after hours trading. All right, so let's look here. CLRB for the past year, it's been downtrending. Let's look at a 3-year chart maybe. Okay, so basically this thing's been downtrending ever since basically since its birth. CLRB has been downtrending. Okay. Throughout this time period, you've seen a few spikes. Like this is a spike. It spiked a couple times in here. So it is known to spike, but not like crazy. Most of its spikes are about 70, 50 cents to maybe $1 when it does have a good spike to it. If you look, let's do like we'll just do a 20-day chart. If you look for the past 20 days, the stock doesn't have a lot of volume. There's really not too much volume. It's starting to pick up in volume. You can see this big volume spike here, right? If we look at maybe an 180-day chart. So it's had a few volume spikes, nothing crazy. I mean, it's got a lot of overhead resistance. I mean, you have tons of resistance here. One there, some here, some here, some here, all right, some here. So it's got a lot of overhead resistance. It's a light volume stock, so chances are you're not going to see too much movement out of this in the coming days. It's up right now, but again, it's a low volume stock, been downtrending for a long time. Chances are it's not going to move much. Sure, it may have got FDA approval on something. That's why it's up. I knew it would be up from some news, right? So sure, there's some type of news going on, but if the news were that good and if the stock was that good, we would see it moving like so, okay? If this were really supposed to be going and booming, we'd already be seeing it, okay? Let's see what else about. So Shannon, you're talking about X. Now I know there's a lot of talks about what Trump plans to do with imposing tariffs and whatnot. So the stock MU, or sorry, the stock X has been going through some crazy phases, right? So this is what we kind of talked about a couple weeks back, right? We talked about this. The company X was going through, you know, a choppy period where it was just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So it was really just chopping around. So we knew that it was trading in this channel, and this was in certain times. And I even specifically went over it that we were probably going to drop, because you could see that we were having upper wicks here. You could see these upper wick candles, and they kept getting sold down, push down, right? So we tried going higher 1, 2, 3 different times. Chances are we're going to break lower if that's the case, right? So again, there's a lot of talk around what's going to happen with steel because of, you know, the things that President Trump intends on doing, right? We know that. And now that's kind of accelerated the drop on the steel, right? That's what happened. It kind of accelerated its move, okay? But at the same time, think about it. Just because, you know, some news broke out about it, think about it. This thing was already topping out here around 47. It was probably due for a pullback anyways, okay? So again, it's kind of still on track. I mean, it's still uptrending, okay? We haven't broken through our previous low, so we're still uptrending. But what this could actually be is the start of a downtrend. And I'll map this out for you, okay? Watch this. This could be the start of a head and shoulders pattern, right? We have the move up, pullback, move up. This is the head. This could be the start of the shoulder. Okay, so watch in the coming weeks, steel may continue down. This could be the start of a head and shoulders pattern. A head and shoulders pattern is a bearish pattern. Okay, so this could be the start of a head and shoulders pattern, which is a bearish pattern. Does that mean it's going to come down next week? Does it mean it's going to come down in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days? Who knows? But we know that this could be the start of a downtrend, considering we may be in a bearish pattern. Okay, so right now we're going to go through a bounce. We're probably going to go through a little bit of a bounce and consolidation phase right here, because one second. So for steel, right, we just had the move down. Now we're going to go through a consolidation phase. We're either going to bounce up a little bit more, but we're going to go into a consolidation phase over these next couple of days and few weeks before a new move is made, and that's either to the downside or the upside. Okay, so right now, new resistance is going to be $41, $42. New resistance for the stock is about $42. Its previous high right here. Okay, so keep that in mind now. All right, and then you're talking about MU, Micron. Okay, so Micron's kind of in an uncertain place right now as well. Okay, we just had a big move up. We're starting to pull back, right? Yeah, we're pulling back. Dip down, we're pulling back. Right now, you have to be kind of careful. MU actually might be going for a little bit of a double top, okay? This is kind of a common pattern you see where a stock gets really, really, it jumps up a lot, and then when it pulls back really, really hard and creates a big distance from like the top, right? So you have a big distance from here to here is kind of a big distance. So once you get that big distance, you're kind of going to see if we can break through the previous high. This is more of a sell-off than it is a pullback, right? Like here's a pullback right there, right? That's a pullback. That's a pullback, right? Like these are pullbacks right here, right? Like that's a pullback, move up, pull back a little bit. But that's more of a sell-off, all right? So be careful on MU in these coming days. You actually might see a little bit of a sell-off. It might put in a lower high, and we might start downtrending, to be honest. That's very possible as well, okay? So again, you have to, and just like David, you have to, that's what I mean. You guys kind of, when you're trading, you have to put together all these, like, all these rules, all these things that and have heard of. You have to put it together, because That's how you become successful, right? When you're able to potentially, like, that's it right here, right? There is no head and shoulders pattern yet, but I'm already seeing half of it, right? So if I'm already seeing half of a head and shoulders pattern, I should automatically think that we might end up doing a head and shoulders pattern, because if I can see it, other people can see it too. And then that just kind of accelerates the possibility of that move happening, okay? So X kind of have a bearish outlook for the next couple of weeks. The next couple of days are more bullish. I have a more bullish outlook for the next couple of days, right? But in the coming weeks, maybe a little bit more of a bearish outlook on steel, okay? So, those are really all the stocks that I mean, unless we got anything else. Oh, wasn't there one at Salt? Germ, right? So let's take a look here at Salt. Okay, so Salt, I would definitely not mess with or trade, just because you can see how choppy it is. Look at back. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's not fun to trade. I would really not even mess with that. That's something I would more or less stay away from. You could raise an argument that it's in an area that you might want to buy, just because it is uptrending, right? It is uptrending. It's kind of at the low point, so you have minimal risk buying here, because if it starts breaking the trend line, you could get out. So some would argue this is a good buy point, and you could look to get in here around 730, 740 and sell up towards 840. So you could do that, but again, it's a choppy chart, so I'd probably stay away. Jern. Okay, so yeah, Jern, this is one we covered not too long ago. I remember talking about it, and I specifically said to watch out, because it's already gone through a really big run-up. It was most likely going to pull back, and that's exactly what happened. It ended up dropping 50 cents in a day. So, again, this is pretty common, right? It just had a really big run-up, right? It just pulled back. Jern just pulled back super hard. So a lot of times what you're going to see is, when you have a really big pullback, you'll see a few green candles, right? You'll see a green candle, see a green candle, and then it will try and come up and break through the previous high, which is 369. If it doesn't break through the high, it usually pulls back and dumps, right? So I'm pretty bearish on Jern for the next couple weeks. And now I would probably start looking at it for a potential short. Now, this is considering that it's a penny stock and that it's most likely going to fail, right? That's taking that into consideration. But right now, it just went through a pullback. So it has to at least break through 369 to continue going higher. So right now, all it is, it's just in a very indecisive spot. Let's see, SEED. So another one that's known to spike, but again, it's a very low volume traded stock, to be honest. Not bad. Yeah, very low volume. Again, look at this. I mean, it goes up. Look at this move. It went up, and then it came all the way down, and then it spiked back up, and now it's all the way down. Like, if you're not experienced, that's going to be very, very hard to trade. Even I won't even trade that, just because it clearly is not following, I mean, I guess it kind of is, but that's very challenging to trade. To be honest, I would most likely stay away from that as well. So what's going on, everybody? Glad you guys could join in. So I'm going to end it there. That's all I have for you today. So I hope you guys like the watch list. I hope that helps some of you guys. Again, I will be very focused on TVIX, UVXY, RKDA, DXR, because these are some of the, they're very heavily traded right now. They have volume. People are trading them. Those are going to be the ones most susceptible to seeing big moves. Okay. So everyone take care, and I will see you guys all on Monday morning for the pre-market.